So let's take a look at our past and say, I got it, that's mine, I love it. Let's take a look at our present and say, I got it, I love it, it's mine. And let's look at our future and say, I love it, I got that, that's mine too. I choose to dance with life because I want to be in a life that's full of laughter and love and happiness and joy. Start living your life. Lean into it. You were made for this. This is the purpose. And it doesn't matter if you're 12 or 21 or 102. Now is the time. Lean into it. Turn on that guidance system. Hi, welcome to the Do the Impossible podcast. I'm Jason Drees. I was talking to a client today on a coaching call and really had a question come up that I wanted to talk about. And the question was, are you dancing with life or are you trying to conquer it? And it's an interesting question because one of the things that I've been conditioned to do, and I've been conditioned for success, you've most likely been conditioned the same way, is to work hard, take charge, push, grind, make it happen. And sometimes that works. I actually grinded a ton in my life, pushed hard, took a job at a coaching company, figured if I learned how to coach, learned how to scream out loud all the time and say these incantations over and over again, I would have enough force to make life happen. And I lived that way for a long time. For years, I was grinding. I was like tapping my face, screaming out loud, walking on fire. I literally ate dog food. Like if you look on Google for Jason Drees and dog food, you'll find a video of me eating dog food. Part of the crazy things I did in the past to try to create success. And all the things I was doing at those times was telling life how it was going to go. I was almost afraid of failure. So to avoid even the remote possibility of failure, I had to not stop. And not stopping at any cost was my addiction to movement and success. And I kept taking action and I kept moving forward and I kept going. And I got average results and average results and average results. I made a lot of people around me crazy as I was working that hard. Looking back now, I was really like in complete denial to the starting point, to point A, because I couldn't even acknowledge where I was. I was in so much resistance. I was driving, pushing, going. And I actually hit a wall. I started a business called Excel Business Coaching. And the idea was I was going to work with a couple friends, great business partner, business associates, professionals, some successful entrepreneurs to create a new business coaching company called Excel Business Coaching because I saw an opportunity in the market for high-level business coaching. So I created a company named Excel Business Coaching and worked with a dedicated salesperson who started doing cold calling. I was doing social media. We did webinars, and literally we pushed and grinded. And for 6 months, we didn't actually close one coaching contract. It was the craziest thing. Did not close one coaching contract. And the salesperson says to me, I don't have anything left. And I said, I don't have anything either. And that's when I quit. If you're an entrepreneur and have had a failed business, you'll understand. Like I literally quit. The coaching dream is over. This was middle of 2019. I cried. Partially relieved. And I'm like, it's over. I'm going to go back and get a sales job. Go back to sales. And then one thing I noticed, the next week, I had a referral. And the week after that, I had another referral. And then the week after that, I had another referral. And for the next 4 weeks, I had like 3 or 4 or 5 coaching contracts find me based on inbound. They were referral. And my head exploded at that time. I was like, how does years of grinding, a dedicated salesperson and myself not get anything for 6 months? But the second that I quit, everything starts flowing in. And that was really the foundation of where I am today, the foundation of Jason Drees coaching. Because what I realized in that moment is that hard work does not create success. I was not taught how to create success. I was taught how to work hard. And I was conditioned to work hard. So I worked hard and I worked hard and I grinded and I pushed over and over again. And what I've come to realize is that hard work does not create success. Alignment with success creates success. And that's where alignment coaching was born. And over the next few years, as I started to dive into what I started to understand was that aligning with success accelerates the process of success. Hard work simply increases your opportunities of getting into alignment with success by putting more time and effort into it. And what I've proven in my coaching, like what actually happened after that is 2019, Jason Drees coaching was just Jason Drees, did $100,000 in revenue. The next year, Jason Drees coaching did $1 million in revenue, grew 10x. The next year, it tripled. Jason Drees coaching grew from 1 to 12 coaches in like 18 months. And it was all because I started working with life. Started working with life. I started aligning with life. It was a very important lesson, and I'm still exploring to this day. And one thing that's very interesting is people ask you, like, would you change anything? Would you tell your future self something? Like the Jason Drees from 5 or 6 years ago that was struggling and working so hard and wasn't getting the success. Would you tell him anything? And I wouldn't. I wouldn't tell him anything because I wouldn't want to risk changing anything that is today because everything that is today is amazing. I love it. Now, is it all easy? No. Am I in alignment all the time? No. There's growth. There's misalignment constantly. Managing people, managing coaches, a new coaching methodology that's constantly evolving is hard to manage. But do I love it? Absolutely. I've never been more fulfilled in my work in my entire life. I've never really been able to found anything in my life that I enjoyed this much. And I didn't start Jason Drees coaching until 2013. That was 9 years ago? So I was 40 years, basically 39 or 40 years old before I figured out what I wanted to do. So my question to you is like, have you started to explore yet working with life or dancing with life? Or are you still in the grind it out? Life here's it's going to happen. Because I'll tell you, when you start to align with life, when you start to align and look at the input that life's giving you, starting with your starting point. Where you are today is where you are today. I was in so much resistance to where I was today, I couldn't even acknowledge where I was. But where you are today is part of the process of getting into alignment. So when you start to acknowledge where you're at, you will get into alignment faster. When you start to align. And I wouldn't tell Jason 5 years ago anything because the way the last few years have unfolded was literally a greater experience than I could have dreamed of. Like if you could go back and say, Jason, here's a magic wand, create whatever you want, like in 2019, early 2019, I wouldn't redo it. Because the unfolding of life and the people that showed up and the clients that showed up and the lessons and the challenges and the collaborative team effort that it took to get us here, to get JDC here, to get me here, to get the coaching team here, to get all of us here, was this magical collection of human beings giving it all they've got and leaning in and putting their magic in there. And it's been beautiful and amazing. And I'm grateful for these people on my team. I'm grateful for my clients. I'm grateful for affiliates that give me business, that refer here. It's been so magical. Why would I want to change that by making myself a billionaire 3 years ago? We get hooked so much on the result. Chase the result. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. But have you ever noticed that even when your life starts to feel differently, even when your life situation starts to change, you end up feeling the same? I actually first heard this from a guy named Matt Kahn, who's one of my favorite teachers. I've been following Matt Kahn's content for probably 8 to 10 years. And I was at one of his events, and he said to me, if your life was any different, you would feel exactly the same. And I said, that is ridiculous. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my entire life. I think I heard him say that around 2017. And what I noticed about 2 months ago is that I woke up and I just wasn't feeling good. And Alexis asked me, he's like, "Are you depressed?" And I was like, "What? How can I be depressed?" And I started to look at how I was feeling all the time. And I started to notice that I wasn't feeling happy all the time. Successful? Yeah. I have money? Yeah. Working hard? Yeah. Happy? No. And that's when I realized that I was feeling the exact same way I was feeling 4 or 5 years ago. And 4 or 5 years ago, I thought I was feeling this way of unhappy and stressed and not fulfilled because I didn't have success and I didn't have money. And I literally went out and created success and created a company and created a team and a big, amazing group of clients and a client community. And I created all of that stuff and I feel exactly the same. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever hit the target and you're like, that's it? Because what life is really about, more so than ever before, it's coming up all the time. Your life is in this moment. And it doesn't matter if this moment is today, last year, next year, or 5 years from now, your experience of life is how you're feeling right now. How much are you sacrificing your present moment for a future target? It's a really good question to look into because I'm guessing you're sacrificing part of your present for your future. Now, there are times when you have to put in a large volume of work to get the result. There are times when life requires you to put in the effort. But where are you putting in the effort and not getting the reward? Or where are you putting in the effort and not feeling how you want to feel, but continuing on because you've been thinking that achieving the result's going to make you feel differently? What I've been noticing recently is that the targets that I wanted, success, more freedom, more money, more resources, is not coming from a bigger business with more things. It's actually coming through a simplification. And when I actually think about what I want, do I care about money? Well, yeah. Like, do I want to be rich? Well, what I really want most is to not worry about money and have more than I need. What if I focused on that? I don't worry about money. I have more than I need, and I have as much free time as I want. Doesn't that sound better than a billionaire with all of these other things? We just get so distracted and fixed on these targets that we need to hit. And we end up chasing them because we've seen mentors hit them, and the mentor hit this target, and it was great for the mentor, and we like this mentor. So we end up chasing someone else's dream. Hey, it's Jason. If you're a struggling entrepreneur and you're ready to level up your income, fill out this form right here because I can help you do that. This 20-minute call will help unlock a higher level version of your success, and it's directly with me. Click this link right now to get started. So are you chasing someone else's dream right now? Or are you chasing your own? There's times when you need to chase someone else's dream. And there's also times when you need to start chasing your own. What really is the direction to go? Because what I'm really finding right now is when we start to dial into how we want to feel and be in the present moment, it actually starts to shape the trajectory we want anyway, because we have a common misperception that we have to sacrifice now to get what we want. But like I've said before, life is different now. We're not living in the same reality where action creates reality. We're now in the reality where frequency creates reality. The frequency of you determines the reality you experience. Somewhere in the past few years, we got access to controlling our frequency at a level we never have before, or at least not with an ease that we can access it now. So putting yourself in sacrifice right now on a daily basis. So if your present moment is sacrifice, you're radiating sacrifice. So you're basically generating more requirement for you to sacrifice in your life. If you are focused on getting yourself into alignment with how you feel right now, and living your life in a way that makes you feel how you want. And maybe you thought you needed $1 billion, but all you really wanted was a nice car, and maybe a Lamborghini isn't it. Maybe you just wanted a Mercedes, which isn't that far out of reach. And maybe it really comes down to just really not worrying about money and having some free time is all I want. Maybe what's going to light you up the most is not worrying about money, having flexibility with money, and doing work you love. What if that was it? What if that focus on what you really want now, the minimum you need for happiness, what if that's actually the key to getting everything you want? Because the more I focus on what I really think I need, more, the more stress I have. The more I think about what I need in this moment and what I want in this moment is to be happy and spend time with family and friends and do fun things versus working 80 hours a week, the more I focus on doing the things I want, the more the magic starts to unfold. And you literally start to have opportunities where you thought you had a massive breakthrough. Last week, I thought I had a massive breakthrough. And then last night, one of my amazing team members starts texting me, gave me an entirely new perspective. Why did he start texting me? Why did Danny and Genrev start texting me last night? Because he was in alignment with me, because I was in alignment with life. And through this conversation we had for about 2 hours while it was a date night with my wife, with Alexis, but it was an interesting conversation because it was this like path to freedom that I didn't know that I wanted and didn't know that I could get to. That this conversation, and when the conversation was over, I was like, that was life talking to me through Danny. Danny dialed into that intuition somehow. We chatted over text and all of a sudden he just couldn't stop thinking. And it was awesome. Have you had times like that where you get information you exactly need to hear from another person? Or are you living the I'm conquering life myself so nobody else knows the right way? Because I'll tell you, conquering the world by yourself is lonely and tiring and exhausting. And what I've found for me anyway, it gets mediocre and average results. When you start to align with life, when you start to look at what life is bringing you and see what currents are on, maybe there's a current this way and there's a wind this way, and the direction you're currently heading is up current and headwind, but you need to conquer, so you're grinding in resistance every day. Where if you literally just stop for a moment and looked around, you'll see that there's a path right here that's downwind, down current that gives you 10 times what you want. Because when we are focused on conquering, we're operating in a mind-based perspective. We're in our mindset of domination with a clear misunderstanding of how life works, because life is a reflection of you. Your body is made of energy. It's made of atoms just like mine, and it's not even solid. We are an energetic being in an energetic adaptive reality. There are times when life responds to you, right? Life goes your way, and there's times when life doesn't go your way at all. What's the difference? You. Like literally the frequency of you causes life to respond to you. And unfortunately, most people are living their life in reaction to the present moment. And the present moment is the result of their past frequency. So they literally recreate what they don't want. They're in a frequency of what they don't want. They recreate it. Then they have a reaction that I don't want this. So they literally are recreating the same limited life over and over and over again to the point where they give up because they're so tired of being exhausted and start settling. And then they start taking things like staycations and saying, oh, we're just not the type of people that take vacations to Hawaii because we can't afford it. Like you are an unlimited, infinite, eternal being that is creating your reality every moment of every day. Now, there are things in your life that you can create, but there are things in your life that are destiny. Now, if you look at your life right now, you're going to know there's people in your life that was destiny. There's other people it wasn't. So you do have free will and you do shape your reality, but you do also have some reservations that have already been made that you will show up to the table for. You will show up to that reservation on time, on a chariot, or being drugged behind a car. How do you know which is which? Well, you got to start paying attention to the clue. You got to start paying attention to the signs. You got to start listening to the guidance system that you have. Guidance system? I have a guidance system? Yes, you have a guidance system. I have a guidance system too. What is that? What is that guidance system? Oh, my emotions. You mean we're supposed to listen to those things? Seriously? I've been told to turn that shit off. Talking Star Trek, Dr. Spock. Wish we didn't have any emotions. Well, unfortunately for me, and fortunately for you, my emotions have been turned on high my entire life. And it's driven me on this path to understand them and feel better and get balance. And that's where all this coaching content came from. Literally, me trying to figure out how to be happy and successful in my life. Those emotions are your indicators of alignment. And when you first start to feel your emotions, there's going to be some backlog. There's especially going to be some backlog. And I hate to say it, you're going to cry. When you get in touch with yourself, that you've been ignoring yourself for decades, when you get in touch with yourself, you're going to start crying. And most people I know, they shut themselves down because they've lived their lives in their mind. When you start getting into your body, into your life, into your emotions, into your guidance system, it's an emotional experience because that's what life is. What is life? Life is a journey of emotion. Life is an emotional experience. So, are you ready to use your guidance system? Are you ready to use your guidance system? Are you ready to start following that voice inside you that's telling you where to go that you've been ignoring? Yes, that voice. It's there. Right now, it's telling you exactly what you should do. There's this thing you should do. There's this thing you shouldn't do. There's this job you should do, a job you shouldn't do. There's a person you should be with. There's a person you shouldn't be with. That guidance is right there. It's that whisper that's not going away. And this is the answer to the question that you were going to ask. Oh, how do I work with life? You listen to the guidance. And a big part of that guidance is internal. Oh, we got to listen to that. Yeah, you got to listen to that. What else are you going to do? Live in your head? In your phone? Hiding from life? And then wait until you're on your deathbed to say, "Oh my God, I should have been in touch with my emotions and tell those people what I really feel." What the fuck are you waiting for? Tell them now. The feelings are there. And when you start to align with that emotional guidance system, you're going to start feeling emotions. But here's a secret. Everybody has them. Yes, everybody has them. Everybody has those emotions. Everybody does. If you don't see that, they're hiding them. Being aligned with your emotions is a superpower. Men don't cry? Bullshit. If we weren't supposed to cry, we wouldn't have been given tear ducts. It's emotion. The more you get in touch with that emotion, the more you are in touch with your guidance system, and the more enriching and the more filled life is. How would that feel? How does it feel to live a life without emotion? There's been times when you've shut off emotion. There's been times when I shut off emotion. Absolutely. Absolutely times. Those times feel hollow and empty. But when you start to follow that guidance system, you start to follow the process of life. You start to align with the process of life. Is it going to cause growth in you? Absolutely, it's going to cause growth in you. Absolutely. That's the whole purpose of life. We are not bears. We don't hibernate. We grow or die. That's it. So you're either accepting the growth that life is giving you or you're in resistance to it. And you're going to end up at some of those reservations. Your destiny, table for two, is reserved. And you're going to show up that smiling with a team of onlookers who were cheering you on or drugged behind a car and laughed at. Like, you are going those places. That growth is going to happen. Well, the experience of growth is going to happen. You can align and grow through it, or you can suffer and be drugged through it. That's free will right there. You get to choose your experience of it. What I've found, though, is when you lean into life, when you lean into the process, when you start doing it your way, when you start doing it your way, by following your emotions and not your brain, Following your system, when you do it your way, I keep saying your way, when you start to embrace the journey that's in front of you, the path that's in front of you, and the path that's behind you. You're where you are. That is your path. Why did you get dealt that deck? I don't know, but it's yours. It's there for your growth. So let's take a look at our past and say, I got it. That's mine. I love it. Let's take a look at our present and say, I got it. I love it. It's mine. And let's look at our future and say, I love it. I got that. That's mine too. I choose to dance with life because I want to be in a life that's full of laughter and love and happiness and joy and cheer versus a lone conqueror by myself checking my phone late at night because I'm fucking addicted to it and I can't get off. Start living your life now and start dancing with life. Take your blinders off wherever they are. Start looking at the input that life's giving you. Lean into it. You were made for this. This is the purpose. And it doesn't matter if you're 12 or 21 or 102. Now is the time. Lean into it. Turn on that guidance system. I'm Jason Drees with the Do the Impossible podcast. If you can't get enough of me, check out my Monday Mindset Reset, free 20-minute call to align you every week. Sign up and I'll see you there. Otherwise, we'll continue this conversation on our next episode. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, if you enjoyed that video and you're still looking to take your life to the next level, I think you'll love this video right here.